Hello, I'm Andrew. I'm one of the students in your classroom. One cool thing or quirky thing about me is I like to sim race. As you can see, I have my own simulator set up right here. The wheel and chair and pedal box. One of the reasons why I like the sim racing so much is because of like all the technical factors that go into doing racing. So there's numerous amount of things that you have to keep track of while you're going around the track. You have to memorize not all every corner, but pretty much have a decent idea of what is going into what you're pretty much like knowledge of the track. So you can't just go in there and kind of like nilly willy. You need to be able to figure out your braking points as you're entering corners, your acceleration points as you're coming out of corners, what kind of apex line you want to take through going through the corners, and giving yourself enough space for other cars to either work through or come through next to you, so that way you're not cutting them off or you're bumping into them as you're going through them. But yeah, mainly just like the technical side of it, I guess you could say. It's really fun, really addicting. Spend a little bit too much playing on it sometimes. But for the most part, how I got started in sim racing was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I had a Xbox 360 with a pretty cheap steering wheel and pedal box set up, and I would play on that Forza 2 for numerous hours at a time. And eventually I saved up enough money to buy the wheel and pedal box I have now, and a better, kind of easier setup, I guess you could say. So like a different type of chair and a different type of steering wheel setup or holder, I guess you could say. And yeah, eventually that one broke because I was using and abusing it, so bought a new one and decided to splurge a little bit and spend a little bit more extra money. And yeah, bought this one, put it together, and now I just race every time I get a chance when I'm not doing homework or out in the yard working or actually working at my job. Um, Another thing that is kind of quirky about me is I recently, about a year or so ago, bought a dirt bike. And it's kind of a pit bike. It's not really big. It's about a 80cc little tiny guy. But nonetheless, my next door neighbor is a or was a amateur dirt bike rider. So he used to travel all over the United States racing at like different stadiums or whatever. And so I brought home that one day and said, "Hey, you want to teach me how to ride around the track?" And from there on out, he just kind of started giving me lessons. Spent the whole summer last summer, uh, building jumps, building a track, and just kind of doing all that kind of stuff. And compared to last year of when I started, I'd say this year I'm a lot faster than I was before. Um, but same thing as like in sim racing, there's a lot of technical things that go into dirt bike racing, such as your body placement on your bike. So as you're entering a corner, you probably want to sit on the back end of the tire. That way, when you hit the rear brakes, you have your maximum grip and you're not sliding through the dirt, and you have maximum pressure right there. Or even when you're going around a corner where you need to lean and also press with your left foot if you're taking a left turn, so that way you can get that maximum grip on that tiny little. How would you describe that? Get the maximum grip on that tiny amount of tires you're leaning into the corners. And then same thing, accelerating out of the corners, trying to get that all right, because you accelerate too fast coming out of the corners and you're going to wipe out and have to pick your bike up. I learned that the hard way a few times. Another thing too is jumping it. You have to have a lot of confidence. I wouldn't say a lot of confidence, but you have to have a decent amount of confidence to be able to send it over and give it enough power to where you can actually make it to the other side of the jump. But yeah, for the most part, I think those are mainly my things that I guess I'm interested in. Well, I think that concludes the end of this video. Can't wait to make my video for next week.